Your hand reaches for the armrest before you even decide to stand up. It just happens now. No thought involved, the same way your eyes blink shut when something flies toward your face. And that's not something to wave off with a shrug or a joke about your knees not being what they used to be. That reflex is your glutes, the largest muscle group in your whole body, quietly struggling with the one job they're supposed to handle without any help at all, holding you upright. You've probably heard the same advice a dozen times for this. Do squats. Strengthen your legs. But squats put pressure directly on the joints that are already giving you trouble. The knees bending under your full body weight, the hips grinding through a deep range of motion. For a lot of my patients past 60, that's exactly why the advice never sticks past week 1. You try it. Your knees complain louder than before, and the whole routine quietly disappears into the back of a closet somewhere. There's another way to get at this. One movement, done sitting down, feet never leaving the floor, that trains those same muscles more directly than a squat ever could, and it takes less than 2 minutes. No equipment, no getting down on the floor, no bending deep into a position that makes your joints brace for impact before you've even started. Here's why this matters right now, not down the road. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that 1 in every 4 adults over 65 falls each year. Think about 3 people close to your age sitting in the room with you. Statistically, 1 of them is going to fall sometime in the next 12 months. That small hesitation before you push yourself up off the couch, the one your hand already braces for without asking your permission, that's often the very first sign of a fall coming, showing up months, sometimes years, before it actually happens. It's not bad luck. It's your body telling you something quietly, long before it has to shout to get your attention. Here's what matters more, though. This can be turned around, and it doesn't take anything drastic. I'm going to walk you through this step by step, counting down from movement number 4 to the one exercise everything else here is really building toward. Stick with me to the end because that last movement is what ties the whole thing together. Before we get into it, tell me in the comments, when you push yourself up out of a chair, what's the first thing that complains? Your knees, your lower back, or your hips? I read through what you write, and it genuinely shapes what we cover next. And if this is the first time you're watching, go ahead and subscribe, because we walk through routines like this every week, built for people who want steadier legs without punishing joints that have already been through enough. A quick like helps this find someone else who needs to see it too. Let's start with movement number 4, the standing hip drop. Stand behind a sturdy chair or your kitchen counter, resting both hands lightly on top, just enough contact to feel steady under you. Feet hip-width apart, posture tall, shoulders relaxed down away from your ears. Shift your weight onto your left leg, with a soft bend in that knee rather than locking it straight. Your right foot stays lightly touching the floor beside you, not carrying any weight, just resting there for balance. Now slowly, let your right hip drop downward an inch, as though that side of your pelvis were sinking toward the floor, then lift it back up level. Keep it small and controlled, just a slow tilt down and up, nothing more than that. A common mistake here is leaning the shoulders sideways to try to help the hip move further, so keep your upper body tall and steady the whole time, like you're balancing a glass of water on your head that you really don't want to spill. Repeat this 10 to 12 times slowly, then shift your weight and do the other side. This one's easy to overlook because so little seems to be happening on the outside. But the muscle you're actually training, the gluteus medius, sits on the side of your hip, and it has one specific job, keeping your pelvis level every single time you take a step. When it weakens, and it weakens from years of sitting and less daily movement than your body was built for, You compensate in small ways that eventually show up as that subtle wobble people notice on uneven ground or going up and down stairs. Now, movement number 3. Heel raises with a progressive hold. Stand tall, facing a wall or the back of a sturdy chair, hands resting lightly at chest height. Feet hip-width apart, weight spread evenly across both. Slowly rise up onto the balls of your feet, lifting both heels as high as feels comfortable. Hold that raised position for 2 to 3 seconds, then lower back down with control, just as slowly as you rose up. Repeat 10 times, resting whenever you need to. A common mistake is letting the ankles roll outward or inward as you rise, so keep your weight centered evenly across the ball of each foot. This movement targets your calf muscles, which act as a second pump for your circulatory system, helping push blood back up through the veins in your legs toward your heart. Long hours of sitting slow that pump down considerably, which is a big part of why so many people notice that heavy, cold, sluggish feeling in their lower legs by the end of the day. It also strengthens the muscles around your ankle joint, which plays a real role in preventing the kind of ankle instability that leads to trips. 2 movements down. Both of those were preparing your body for what's coming next, because movement number 2 and movement number 1 are where the real strength building actually begins. Movement number 2, the hip reset step back. Stand directly behind your chair, both hands resting on the backrest, posture tall, eyes forward. Shift your weight onto your left leg with a soft, slightly bent knee. Slowly slide your right foot backward along the floor, just a small step, about the length of your own shoe. Here's the key detail. Your toes stay in contact with the floor the whole time. You're sliding the foot back, not lifting it. As your foot reaches that backward position, gently squeeze the side of your right hip, not the back of it. Hold for 1 full second, then slide the foot back to where it started. Keep your torso upright the whole time and resist the urge to lean forward or arch your back to help the leg move further. Do 10 to 12 slides on the right side, then switch your weight and repeat on the left. Because your toes never leave the ground, this takes away almost all of the balance demand a fully lifted leg would ask of you, which makes it a safer place to start if standing on one leg alone has ever felt shaky. It trains your body's ability to control backward and sideways movement of the hip, a pattern you use constantly in daily life, whether you're stepping back to open a door or catching yourself after an unexpected shift underfoot. And now, movement number 1, the seated leg press hold, the exercise this whole routine has been building toward. Sit upright toward the front edge of a sturdy chair, both feet flat on the floor, roughly hip-width apart, knees bent at a comfortable angle. Rest your hands lightly on your thighs, or hold the sides of the chair if that feels more secure. Without standing up, without leaning forward, and without your feet ever leaving the floor, press both feet firmly and evenly down into the ground, as though you were about to rise out of the chair. Hold that pressing tension for a full 10 seconds, breathing normally the whole time. Don't hold your breath. Then relax completely. Repeat 5 times, resting a few seconds between each one. A common mistake is pressing unevenly, putting more force through one foot than the other, so take a moment before each repetition to make sure both feet feel equally engaged. As this gets easier over time, extend the hold to 15 seconds instead of adding more repetitions. What makes this movement so effective is that it trains what's called isometric strength, the ability to generate force in a muscle without any actual joint movement. Catching yourself during a stumble doesn't give your body time to move through a full range of motion. It requires an instant, powerful contraction, and that's exactly the kind of strength this exercise builds. It engages your glutes, quadriceps, and hamstrings together without placing any compressive load on your knees or hips, which is exactly why it can outperform something like a squat for someone managing joint sensitivity while still building real functional strength. These 4 movements, done consistently each morning, work together as one complete system. Your hips learn to stabilize sideways and backward, your calves support healthier circulation, and that final seated press trains the instant strength your body reaches for when it matters most. None of this asks for intensity or exhaustion, just a few quiet, focused minutes every single day. If this helped you, share it with someone in your life who deserves to move through their days with a little more confidence and a little less hesitation. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because we'll be back next week with another routine built specifically for exactly this stage of life.